I opened my door and my wife, my best friend, betrayal burning my vision. She vowed I'd pay for her mistakes. Months later, as I finally felt safe again, a knock changed everything. She was back, eyes hollow, whispering an apology I could never trust. But nothing prepared me for what she did next. Just when I thought I'd rebuilt my life, Stacy reappeared, claiming regret had changed her. Amber's terrified eyes mirrored my doubt. Was this apology genuine, or another twisted game? Her quiet confession seemed sincere, but trusting her felt impossible. As Stacy vanished into the night, a chilling question lingered. Had she truly changed, or was this the calm before the storm? I thought my marriage was solid. 6 years together, 2 years married. Then, out of nowhere, it collapsed like a cheap house of cards. My now ex-wife, Stacy, was always the center of attention. Gorgeous, charming when she wanted to be, but also selfish, toxic, and vindictive when things didn't go her way. But I loved her, so I overlooked the glaring red flags waving in my face. Everything unraveled in the blink of an eye. One evening, after coming home early from a business trip, I walked into our house expecting to surprise Stacy. The place was strangely quiet, but I could hear muffled sounds coming from upstairs. My gut twisted, but I brushed the feeling aside. As I climbed the stairs, dread pulled heavily in my stomach. I opened the bedroom door slowly, praying I was wrong, but reality slapped me hard in the face. There was Stacy in our bed, wrapped around my childhood friend, Nate. I remember feeling numb. I stood there, my brain trying and failing to process what I was seeing. Stacy scrambled up, covering herself and instantly flipping the situation on me. "Why are you home early? Were you trying to catch me?" Her audacity was astonishing. "Catch you? You're my wife, Stacy. In our bedroom with my best friend." My voice was shaking. Nate sat frozen, looking like he wanted to vanish. Stacy's face twisted in anger, shifting the blame. "Maybe if you gave me enough attention, I wouldn't have to look elsewhere." Her words felt like a blade in my chest. Without another word, I turned and left the house. I crashed at a hotel, numb and replaying the scene over and over in my head, still unable to fully grasp what had happened. Stacy didn't even bother to call or text to apologize. Instead, she emptied our joint account the very next morning. Within a week, she moved in with Nate. Divorce proceedings began shortly after. She painted herself as the victim to our friends, claiming I'd emotionally neglected her, forcing her into Nate's arms. Some believed her, most didn't. But it still stung seeing people I'd known for years take her side. Fast forward 6 brutal months later, I was finally getting my life together. I'd started going to the gym, picked up new hobbies, and even met someone new, Amber. She was incredible, supportive, patient, and genuinely kind, everything Stacy wasn't. For the first time in what felt like forever, I was genuinely happy. Amber and I started sharing bits of our relationship on social media. Simple things, date nights, hiking trips, just normal happy couple stuff. I wasn't doing it to provoke anyone, I was just finally able to enjoy life again. But Stacy had other plans. It all came crashing back into chaos when Amber and I went out for dinner at our favorite steakhouse. It was supposed to be a relaxing evening, just the two of us. We were laughing, genuinely enjoying each other's company until I saw Amber's eyes widen slightly as she glanced behind me. Turning around, my stomach sank. Stacy was standing a few feet away, arms crossed, glaring daggers at Amber. Nate awkwardly hovered behind her, clearly uncomfortable. "Wow, moved on pretty fast, didn't you?" Stacy sneered, stepping forward aggressively. Couldn't even wait until the ink on the divorce papers was dry. Amber looked uneasy, but I squeezed her hand gently, silently reassuring her. "Stacy, our divorce was finalized months ago. It's over. Just let it go." "Easy for you to say," she snapped. "You're the one playing happy couple in public while I'm left to pick up the pieces of my life." I couldn't believe the nerve of her, playing victim yet again. Nate tried to intervene quietly. "Come on, Stacy, let's just go." She whipped around to glare at him. "Nate, this doesn't concern you." "Actually," I interjected, my voice colder than intended, "it concerns him quite a bit, considering he was part of why we're divorced." Stacy turned back to me, her face red with fury. Amber gently tugged at my hand, whispering, "Maybe we should just leave." But Stacy wasn't done. She leaned in, voice low but filled with venom. "You think you can just replace me and parade around like I never existed? I made you. You wouldn't even know what happiness looked like if it weren't for me." "Stacy, you're embarrassing yourself," I said firmly. Amber stepped closer, standing beside me protectively. "Oh, sweetie," Stacy mocked, her tone dripping sarcasm as she looked Amber up and down. "Enjoy him while you can. He's only using you to get back at me." Before I could respond, the manager approached, noticing the tension. "Is everything all right here?" Stacy huffed, giving us one last spiteful glare. "Perfect. Just leaving." She stormed out, dragging Nate behind her, leaving a painful silence in her wake. Amber squeezed my hand again, offering a small, reassuring smile. "You okay?" she whispered. I nodded, but deep down, unease gnawed at my gut. Stacy was vindictive and unpredictable. I knew this wasn't over, not by a long shot. After Stacy's scene at the steakhouse, I knew peace was temporary. Amber and I decided not to let Stacy ruin our evening, but I couldn't shake the anxiety. Amber, sensing my tension, gently reassured me, "We'll handle whatever comes our way, together." Days passed quietly enough, and I almost convinced myself Stacy's outburst was a one-time event. I was wrong. On a quiet Sunday afternoon, Amber and I were grocery shopping when my phone buzzed repeatedly. I glanced down, feeling a chill run down my spine. Stacy had messaged me 10 rapid-fire texts filled with accusations, anger, and jealousy. "How dare you parade your happiness online? You have no right. Amber will never be me. You're pathetic. Everyone sees through your act. They know you're miserable." Amber saw my expression change and gently touched my arm. "Everything all right?" I sighed, showing her the messages. Amber's brow furrowed with concern, but her voice remained calm. "Let's just block her, okay? She can't get to us if we don't let her." I nodded, blocking Stacy's number right then. But Stacy wasn't about to let it go that easily. Just a few days later, I received a frantic call from Nate. I hesitated, unsure about answering, but curiosity got the better of me. Nate sounded panicked, his voice shaking. "Man, you need to watch out. Stacy's gone off the rails. She keeps talking about how she's going to make you suffer for leaving her." I felt anger bubble up inside me. "I didn't leave her, Nate. She chose you." He went silent for a moment, clearly ashamed. "I know. Look, I'm really sorry about everything. But I thought you should know she's obsessed. It scares me, honestly." That night, Amber and I discussed the call, agreeing to be extra cautious. It felt like walking on eggshells, but we refused to let Stacy dictate our happiness. Unfortunately, Stacy had other plans. Amber was out running errands alone one afternoon when she called me, sounding shaken. "I think Stacy is following me. I've seen her car 3 times now." "Come straight home," I instructed, worry gripping me tight. Amber arrived safely but visibly unsettled. We decided enough was enough and called the police to report Stacy's behavior. They took our statement seriously but cautioned us, unless there's proof of direct threat, our hands are tied. We installed security cameras, feeling like prisoners in our own home. Amber remained supportive, never once blaming me, but guilt gnawed at me relentlessly. Then, one night, the security camera triggered an alert. My heart pounded as we checked the footage. There was Stacy, standing in front of our house, staring right into the camera, a cold, unsettling smile on her face. She held something in her hand, a note, which she placed carefully on our porch before leaving. I retrieved the note cautiously. The message was short but chilling. "You took my happiness, I'll take yours." Amber's eyes filled with tears, but her voice remained firm. "We can't let her win. We'll get through this." The police finally took action after seeing the footage and the note, issuing a restraining order against Stacy. It felt like a victory, but deep down, we knew Stacy wouldn't back down quietly. The calm that followed felt eerily temporary. Amber and I continued to live cautiously, never fully able to relax. Every knock at the door or late-night phone call sent chills down my spine. Then the unexpected happened. Amber came home one evening, visibly pale, holding a letter. Her hands trembled as she handed it to me. The handwriting was unmistakable, Stacy's. "She's not done," Amber whispered, fear evident in her eyes. The note simply read, "I'll see you both soon." It was clear Stacy's vendetta was far from over. Amber and I were left reeling after Stacy's chilling note. The uncertainty gnawed at us constantly, making even normal daily routines feel tense and unsettling. Every moment seemed overshadowed by the threat of Stacy's next move. The restraining order was supposed to keep her away, yet it felt like nothing more than a thin barrier between our safety and her obsession. One afternoon, I received another unexpected call, this time from a number I didn't recognize. Cautiously, I answered. "Hey, it's Nate again," came a hesitant voice. "Listen, man, Stacy's really losing it. She's been talking about you nonstop, plotting some kind of revenge." I tried calming her down, but she just won't listen. My blood ran cold. "What kind of revenge, Nate?" He paused, clearly conflicted. "She mentioned Amber specifically. Just be careful, okay?" I thanked him quietly, hanging up with my heart pounding. Amber noticed immediately. "What did he say?" "We need to be extra careful," I admitted, explaining Nate's warning. Amber nodded silently, the worry in her eyes painfully obvious. A few days passed with painful vigilance, and just as I began to hope Nate's warnings were overblown, Stacy made her next move. Amber called me frantically from work. Someone vandalized my car, slashed tires, broken windows, everything. My heart raced as I drove to meet her. The scene was distressing. Amber's car was nearly destroyed, glass scattered around, tires completely flattened. The police arrived quickly but admitted the surveillance footage from the parking lot was grainy. Still, I knew instantly who was behind this. It was Stacy, Amber said firmly. Her calm strength astonished me despite the chaos. Amber's car incident escalated our fears, but Stacy remained elusive. She hadn't been seen, and the police couldn't immediately locate her. This uncertainty made everything feel more threatening. We started changing our routines, constantly feeling hunted. Then one evening, returning from dinner at Amber's parents', we found our front door ajar. Panic surged through me as I cautiously pushed it open further. The interior of our home was ransacked, furniture overturned, belongings scattered. Amber covered her mouth, eyes wide in disbelief. She was here. I called the police again, anger mixing with fear. They arrived quickly, documenting the scene carefully. An officer looked grim as he spoke. She's escalating. This goes beyond vandalism. Be prepared, this isn't likely to end quietly. As we cleaned up the aftermath, Amber picked up a shattered picture frame, eyes filling with tears. How long will we have to live like this? I felt powerless, knowing Stacy would not stop until she'd broken us completely. Yet, Amber took a deep breath, determination shining through her fear. No matter what she does, we won't let her win. We can't. Her courage strengthened me, reminding me that together we were stronger than Stacy's vendetta. Still, as we secured our home tighter, installing even more security measures, the sense of vulnerability never truly left. Stacy's rage continued to cast a long shadow over our lives, each incident pushing us closer to breaking, but Amber's strength gave me hope. Even as we braced for whatever Stacy planned next, I knew we'd fight to protect the happiness we'd built together. Amber and I continued living on edge, constantly looking over our shoulders. The police assured us they were actively searching for Stacy, but their reassurances offered little comfort. Every shadow seemed threatening, every unexpected noise made us jump. We felt trapped, yet we knew backing down would mean Stacy had won. One afternoon, Amber suggested something unexpected. Maybe we should get away for a while, just to clear our heads. The idea appealed to me greatly. A short break from the constant stress felt necessary. We quickly planned a weekend getaway, renting a secluded cabin a few hours away from the city, hopeful that distance might grant us a brief respite. Arriving at the cabin, we both felt immediate relief. Surrounded by woods, it felt as though we were hidden from the rest of the world. That evening, sitting by the fireplace, we finally began to unwind. Amber smiled softly at me, squeezing my hand. This was exactly what we needed. But peace, we quickly discovered, was fleeting. In the middle of the night, a sharp noise jolted me awake. My heart hammered as I listened closely. Someone was definitely outside. Amber woke up too, fear immediately evident in her eyes. Did you hear that? I nodded, grabbing a flashlight and cautiously peering out the window. My blood froze when the beam illuminated Stacy, standing motionless among the trees, her expression unreadable. Amber gasped, clutching my arm. She's here, Amber whispered, her voice trembling. I quickly dialed the police, my voice shaking as I explained our situation. Please hurry. She's found us. Minutes felt like hours as we waited in tense silence. Suddenly, loud knocking rattled the cabin door, causing Amber to jump. Stacy's voice carried through the wood, clearly, calm yet chilling. Did you really think you could escape me? You ruined my life, I won't let you live yours. Amber stood firm, despite the obvious hating in her eyes. Go away, Stacy. You're only hurting yourself. Stacy laughed bitterly, pounding again. Open the door, let's end this. Just as I prepared to barricade the door further, flashing lights illuminated the cabin's surroundings. Relief flooded us as police officers quickly surrounded Stacy, ordering her to the ground. She resisted briefly but was swiftly subdued. As Stacy was taken away, she glared at me, eyes filled with a fury I'd never seen before. This isn't over, she hissed. You'll never have peace. Amber and I were left shaken but intact. He said, she won't bother you again for a long time. We'll make sure of that. Despite his reassurance, Amber clung tightly to me, whispering softly, Is it really over? I held her close, wishing desperately I could answer confidently. I hope so, was all I could honestly say. Returning home, we began rebuilding the security Stacy had tried to destroy. Not just physically but emotionally too. Yet, even in the newfound quiet, I couldn't help but wonder if Stacy's last words were a threat or a promise. Months passed quietly. Amber and I gradually regained our peace. One evening, while we were cooking dinner, An unexpected knock at the door startled us. Amber froze instantly, anxiety creeping back. Opening the door hesitantly, I found Nate standing there, looking distressed. "I needed to see you," he blurted nervously. "Stacy got released early. She vanished. I think she's coming here." Before I could react, a second figure stepped from the shadows. Stacy herself. Amber grabbed my arm instinctively, fear flooding her eyes. Stacy didn't approach aggressively. Instead, she looked defeated, her voice surprisingly soft. "I came to apologize." Amber eyed her warily. "Why should we believe you?" "You shouldn't," Stacy admitted quietly. "But I've lost everything. I finally understand. My anger destroyed me more than it did you." Without another word, Stacy turned and walked away into the darkness, leaving us stunned. Amber whispered hesitantly, "Do you think she meant it?" I didn't know. Stacy's apology left us uncertain, hopeful yet cautious. We closed the door, knowing we'd never fully trust again, but finally sensing the weight of fear lifting.